shattered dreams.
Hello, friends. This is Sam Chaney reporting for Weaponized News. Today, May 16th, 2025. Thank you for joining us on this Friday edition of Weaponized News. As we wait to see some people come in, a few people came in. Thank you for joining us on this Friday edition of Weaponized News. Let me check real quick how everything's going. We've been having gremlins in the machine lately, and the old Rumble's lagging again. Not surprising. Let's see. I think we had problems last Friday over there. Anyway, some good news. They finally removed the plexiglass from my favorite grocery store, grocery outlet over here, where I do most of my grocery shopping, discount grocery store. And so they finally removed the plexiglass. Are you guys seeing the plexiglass come down in your area, in your areas? Yeah, we're up on the Rumble. Shout out to those on Rumble. Chloe, hello. Shout out to Ruckus on the YouTube, and thank you for sharing the promo post. Isn't it funny on the X? Over 11,000 followers on the X. No, like 2 people share the post. Why do you follow? Why do you follow Weaponized News? Oh, because we're extremely, like a lot of people, I guess. Turns out Elon Musk is a big con artist, if you didn't already know. It's a liar and a con artist and a thief, like all the rest of big tech. We'll get to some of that reporting today for you. What else do we have today on this Friday? Always look on a Friday. I always look on a Friday. Are they doing a big data dump of something important that they want to bury over the weekend? It doesn't look like anything particularly significant has dropped on this Friday. They might even wait till like right about now. You know what I mean? So in my preparations for the show, I didn't see anything that particularly significant, but we do have a lot of news that all adds up to tyranny, to scientific dictatorship, AI takeover, technocracy. Well, the continuing theme, the genocide over there in Gaza continues. It's quite horrific indeed. We've got this whole stupid PSYOP thing of Comey putting 8647, writing it in seashells, and then on an Instagram post, and then deleting it. And so that's all the rage to talk about this nonsense. They just dropped interview of Biden. I saw that. More nonsense. I mean, you didn't know Biden is if it's even him, who even knows at this point? It's all fake. They're all actors, not even good actors. We're missing Barry still. I did email him and haven't heard back. So if you guys email Barry and see what's going on with him. We've been missing him all this week. Maybe he got tired of Weaponized News. I don't know. Okay, what else do we got? The big, beautiful bill that doesn't cut any spending got shut down by the, quote, conservatives in the House of Representatives. Conservatives blocked Trump agenda bill from advancing, a major setback for GOP leaders. They got to play the part. They're the good conservatives in the Freedom Caucus, and they care about taxpayer money. You would think somebody would care at some point. I don't know. Moody's downgraded the U.S. credit rating from like a big capital A, lowercase a to capital A, lowercase a, 1, whatever that means. It means something in credit ratings, allegedly, supposedly. What else do we got? We have quite a bit today, so I shall just get on with the reporting, I guess. Preparations for Trump military parade in D.C. Isn't that exciting? What do we got? We have quite a bit today, actually, but no, like, we got a lot of AI news, some more creepy robots out of China, so we can get a glimpse into our future here. Oh, what came out of Trump's whirlwind tour to the Middle East? Well, Neuralink conduct brain chip trials in Abu Dhabi. And so that's very exciting, isn't it? Everyone out there, take your brain chip. Don't question the science. You'll be subsequently banned. We already are essentially shadow banned off the internet here. So we might as well just go for the full banning again. At this point, it's extremely frustrating to have everyone funneled, siloed into our little echo chambers, and that's where we stay. You know what I mean? And it's extremely frustrating as these assholes, big tech, steal all our data and engineer the algorithms to social engineer us. I'm sick of it, honestly. Sick and tired of it. I'm sure our audience is as well, but a large majority out there love it, apparently. We have some economic news besides the credit rating being downgraded. Some big moves out there for a few companies, some layoffs over there at Microsoft. We got geopolitical news. Simon did make an appearance on Galloway show yesterday. We'll play that, along with Ruckus's partner over there, Henningsen. I can never say the guy's name right. You know who I'm talking about. That's Ruckus's partner. He was also on Galloway. We're not going to play that because he's not repping Weaponized News, but everybody should tune in to hear his analysis of current events and geopolitical matters. We'll play the clip from Simon. What else do we got? Just more exposing of the aardvarks. I don't know how much more we can expose them. They're exposed. I mean, we'll continue on to speak out against the genocide. I don't know what we could really do here. Shame the Christian Zionists, I guess. If you know a Christian Zionist, shame them. They'll probably call DHS on you and try to have you deported or claim you're a terrorist. You know, I mean, that's literally where we're at here in America. Patrick Henningsen. There you go. He also appeared on the Galloway show yesterday. So thank you for that pronunciation. You know, I'm horrible with names. I should get like training on names or something. But does it even really matter? Probably not. People know what I'm talking about. Yeah, UN's putting out, it is unconscionable that over 45 children have reportedly been killed in airstrikes in Gaza in 2 days. Well, we'll get to that, why it doesn't matter, because we have the Israeli, what the heck's even, Michael Waggledigger, Aardvark PM says that no one in Gaza is innocent. Even the children will have to be killed. So, you know what I mean? Trump's floating the idea. His big, beautiful ethnic cleansing plan. Isn't it wonderful? War crimes. Trump administration working on plan to move 1 million Palestinians to Libya. Haven't we been going? Libya is facing like civil unrest right now. Yeah, move them on into a civil war. What the hell? Better than just indiscriminate bombing forever. Yeah, so, and MAGA loves war crimes and ethnic cleansing, apparently. Very little pushback from the MAGA base. So disgusting, and it's just beyond the pale of what do you even say to these people at this point? They're in a cult. They're in a MAGA cult. Nothing can shake them. No level of lies, murder, genocide, war crimes. Nothing can shake them. And they get triggered too bad when you criticize their cult leader. I've been called a liberal. Been called a liberal. Been called a Jew. You name the insult on the internet. You know, but whatever, man. Whatever. You guys keep trusting the plan out there in MAGA land. All right, let me get to this day in history. I actually had to cut it short due to matters that were beyond my control. Let me there was some type of, I want to say 68. I was reading through it. I don't want to say the wrong. I don't want to give you guys the disinformation. I know, God forbid, if I put out disinformation on this channel of the friggin' UN attacking me. Just scrolling through here quickly, if I could find anything significant that I missed. I'm sure there is plenty that I missed. Okay, this day in history, on May 16th, going back to the year 1600, 2,000 foreigners are murdered in Russia. Russia bad. In 1792, Denmark abolishes the slave trade. In 1817, on this day, the Mississippi River steamboat service begins. Quite a significant development in the Industrial Revolution of transportation. In 1846, a revolutionary insurrection begins in Portugal on this day. In 1872, Metropolitan Gas Company lamps light up for the first time. In 1903, the first transcontinental motorcycle trip begins from starting in San Francisco to New York. And they arrived in New York. They left on today, May 16th, and arrived in New York from San Francisco on July 6th. Quite a long road trip there. In 1910, the U.S. Bureau of Mines was formed. In 1920, Joan of Arc was canonized by Pope Benedict the 25th. In 1927, the Supreme Court rules bootleggers must pay income taxes. In 1939, food stamps were first issued in Rochester, New York. And in 1941, the last German air attack occurred in Great Britain on this day. And I know I'm missing some stuff here, but like I said, unforeseen circumstances took me away, and I'm just trying to blast through it right now. But not to bore you with this day in history too much longer, let's get to our segue. And here's the segue. They're making a big old deal about it. Coincidentally, and there are no coincidences, right? It's all a conspiracy. But coincidentally, how fitting, Sam, that's funny, over there on the over there on the YouTube. So I'll just put that up. That is funny. How fitting, San Francisco transcontinental. Get your mind out of the gutter over there. But it does tie into San Francisco as well. So Comey made this stupid post, if I can even find it now. And this is all the rage today. We're getting Comey finally, really? It's just so stupid. It makes my head hurt at this point. But people still believe this BS. It's all part of the conspiracy to social engineer and mind control you. But don't worry, as Dang Dole says over there, Light Stalker says on the X, Patriots are in control. Nothing to worry about. Everything's fine. as they march us toward the scientific dictatorship, one world government, technocracy, and so on, as we continue to cover here at Weaponized News. Here is the post, the infamous post now from former FBI Director Comey, 8647. Cool shell formation on my beach walk. So he was just walking on the beach and he saw this. Coincidentally, and we know there are no coincidences, he posted this yesterday on his Instagram and subsequently removed it. But turns out it was yesterday, Thursday, May 15, 2025, was 8,647 days since 9/11. And so that's since 9/11, September 11, 2001. And so very strange social engineering mind control there by Comey as part of a bigger psyop. Here's the segue of Trump playing his part in all this nonsense. And then we'll get to the news for you.
He knew exactly what that meant. A child knows what that meant. If you're the FBI director and you don't know what that meant assassination. And it says it loud and clear. Now, he wasn't very competent, but he was competent enough to know what that meant. And he did it for a reason, and he was hit so hard. Because people like me, and they like what's happening with our country. Our country has become respected again, and all this. And he's calling for the assassination of the president.
Obviously, he apologized and said he doesn't.
Well, he
wasn't
apologized because he was
violence. But
look, he's a very bad.
What do you want to see happen?
What
do you want to see happen?
I don't want to take a position on it because that's going to be up to Pam and all of the great people. But I will say this: I think it's a terrible thing, and when you add his history to that, if he had a clean history, he doesn't. He's a dirty cop. He's a dirty cop, and if he had a clean history, I could understand if there was a leniency, but I'm going to let them make that decision.
He was just celebrating 8,647 days since 9/11. I don't know what all this hype is about, making a big deal about it. Again, Comey playing his part in the psyop. Great. Now I have to go. Now I'm going to have to watch. Let's see. Yeah. So Ruckus says, to be fair, he promotes Weaponized News on Sunday Wire. So now we got to go find those clips and play them on Monday. Well, thank you for doing that, Ruckus. It is appreciated. And we're going to have to play. And we usually have Ruckus live on Monday. So we'll play a clip of him from Sunday promoting Weaponized News. And then you'll have him live on Monday, most Mondays if he's available. So. But thank you very much for that promotion. God knows we need it. Okay, continuing here, trying to keep up with the chats. Former FBI Director James Comey under investigation for post seen as potential threat to President Trump's life. He was celebrating 9/11. I mean, come on. Trump was celebrating over there with Saudi Arabia, as we've covered here. Several Trump allies accused Comey of calling for the president's assassination in now deleted Instagram post. Really? He posted some seashells, and you could see how he's going to wiggle his way out of it. But this is going to suck up, 2-3 days of the news cycle of total nonsense. Comey's not getting in trouble for this. Sorry to tell you. I know the good guys are in control and we're getting all the bad guys, but Comey is not getting in trouble for this. Former FBI Director James Comey is being interviewed by the U.S. Secret Service. CNN says, well, all the bad guys are going down now. The white hats are in control. There you go. The start of the fall of the deep state, Comey slipped up by posting that Instagram photo of 8647. What a load of BS, man. But that's what they're pumping out there. That's what your fake media, your fake conservative alternative media, a bunch of them pumping it. It's freaking nonsense, man. Okay, what does old Laura Loomer have to say about this? She says, if Comey doesn't get arrested and Pam Bondi doesn't fire James Comey's daughter from the DOJ, then you'll know all the talk about accountability from the DOJ is nothing more than a Fox News talking point. You didn't know already? It's literally, they've turned it into a Fox News program, essentially, with all these people in the Trump administration, former Fox News reporters, employees, and propagandists and BS artists. Have you figured it out yet? I don't know. It's just so dumb at this point, but we have to continue to cover it because maybe someday, some way, your MAGA friends, neighbors, and relatives would start questioning something, but probably not. And so here's propaganda from the Justice Department. 100 days of making America safe again. Let me tell you, this is straight up truth. The government can't and won't keep you safe, as every politician campaigns on public safety. Let's watch this propaganda 2-minute video from the Justice Department.
Trump's nominee for Attorney General Pam Bondi was just confirmed.
Thrilled to be here today with our nation's next incredible, and she will be incredible, Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi.
I will fight every day to restore confidence and integrity to the Department of Justice and each of its components.
And several Valley agencies are celebrating a major drug bust. Operation Double Down resulted in 20 arrests and more than 1.7 million fentanyl pills off the street.
The Department of Justice is suing New York Governor Kathy Hochul and other top officials over alleged resistance to the Trump administration's crackdown on illegal immigration.
The Department of Justice announced it is investigating 4 California universities for potentially, quote, illegal DEI admissions practices.
Federal authorities in Los Angeles announced the takedown of a Guatemalan criminal organization responsible for one of the largest human smuggling operations in the United States.
It looks like you got one of these guys, a Tesla terrorist.
This is our 5th major arrest on Tesla. He is going away, if convicted, for 40 years. Today, the Department of Justice is announcing a civil lawsuit against the Maine Department of Education. The state of Maine is discriminating against women by failing to protect women in women's sports. And thanks to the FBI, we got one of the worst of MS-13 off the streets this morning. We took out an ISIS terrorist in New York, right in New York, brought to justice the Abbey Gate terrorist, dismantled a Sinaloa drug pipeline with 1,000 pounds of meth, 17,000 fentanyl pills, 20,000 fake mollies with fentanyl in them that could kill multiple people. And at President Trump's directive, we are making America safe again.
Like the post said, MAGA/Q sheeple lapping it up. Sad to see. Supreme Court rules against Trump administration in Alien Enemies Act case. The Supreme Court granted a request by Venezuelan nationals seeking to block their removal from the United States under the Alien Enemies Act. Trump said the court won't allow us to get criminals out of our country. The court barred the removal of the men who the Trump administration alleges are members of the Trindagra gang, pending a new decision from the lower court. The justices did not rule out whether the Alien Enemies Act, which the Trump administration invoked back in mid-April to deport the detainees, had been applied correctly. They're getting desperate, and Trump hasn't ended the war in Ukraine. They're not even having peace negotiations now. Putin's laughing. Looks like Putin has played Trump. Trump promised end of the Ukraine-Russia war in 24 hours if he's elected. It's still going on today, and the peace negotiations have failed to this point. Trump promised that mass deportations they're getting desperate. Let's watch this clip. This is posted by the White House. Let me show you. They're getting desperate because the mass deportations are not coming to fruition, but the militarization of the southern border has come to fruition.
Me, who is a daughter of immigrants, who half my family is still undocumented, watching that, me, who is a daughter of immigrants.
The White House posted this. You get a free trip home and $1,000 or face severe financial penalties, incarceration, and deportation. Again, selling the Deport Yourself app. I don't know how much, I don't know, I haven't seen any numbers, how many illegals are taking this up. I think we're...
Today I signed an executive order to launch the first ever self-deportation program for illegal aliens. We are making it as easy as possible for illegal aliens to leave America. Any illegal aliens simply show up at an airport and receive a free flight out of our country. We have also launched a phone app called CBP Home. That's CBP Home, where illegals can book a free flight to any foreign country. As long as it's not here, you can go anywhere you want. We're also adding a very important exit bonus for illegals to further incentivize their self-deportation. This deportation bonus will save American taxpayers billions and billions of dollars. What Biden did to this country can never be explained, will never, ever be accepted. Eventually, when the illegals are gone, it will save us trillions of dollars. However, if illegal aliens choose to remain in America, they're remaining illegally and they will face severe consequences. Illegal aliens who stay in America face punishments including significant jail time, enormous financial penalties, confiscation of all property, garnishment of all wages, imprisonment and incarceration, and sudden deportation in a place and manner solely of our discretion. So to all illegal aliens, book your free flight right now. We want you out of America, but if you're really good, we're going to try and help you get back in. Thank you.
If you're really good, we're going to try and help you get back in. Do it then. Go after the employers. It ain't hard to figure out, but they're not doing it. Go after Mayorkas, last administration, everybody that enabled the last invasion under the Biden administration. They should all be in jail. But it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. And go after the employers. Audit all employer records for fake socials, for stolen IDs. They don't do it. I mean, it ain't hard to figure out how to track down these illegals. Oh, but we got to let Musk in there with Palantir and AI to have all your Social Security data, Americans. Well, they say, Noah Hyde laws, anti-Semitic laws, direct violation of the Constitution. The Constitution's, they don't care about the Constitution. That's a dead document, as they say. Some more making America safe again. We do like the big raids here. Making America safe again, the Department of Homeland Security tells us, should be abolished. If you're here illegally and break the law, we will hunt you down, arrest you, and lock you up. That's a promise. I'm calling them liars. They're not doing it. Let's watch this propaganda clip trying to scare illegals. Ice Barbie, as she's Christy Nome dog killer woman, and she's become known just beyond ridiculous. But again, another reality show made for TV movie that they're turning it all into a giant mockery. As she's proposed having that show we reported on yesterday. She probably reported on it again. We talked about it yesterday. Having illegals fight in some kind of, I guess not fight, go through competition, very Hunger Games style-ish. Travel around the country and have competitions for citizenship. It's making a mockery of our immigration system. And Trump's failed again here now with his Republicans controlling the House of Representatives for good reason. Republicans must unite behind the one big, beautiful bill. Not only does it cut taxes for all Americans, but it will kick millions of illegals off of Medicare to protect it for those who are the ones in real need. The country will suffer greatly without this legislation, with their taxes going up 65%. It will be blamed on the Democrats, but that doesn't help our voters. We don't need grandstanders in the Republican Party. Stop talking and get it done. It is time to fix the mess that Biden and the Democrats gave us. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Well, some of the conservatives are not really listening to Trump, it seems. Conservatives block Trump agenda bill from advancing, a major setback for GOP leaders. The House Budget Committee voted down the massive party line package with a critical band of pushing for deeper spending cuts. The vote in the Budget Committee was 16 to 21. Republicans voted no. Chip Roy. Well, we have video from Chip Roy. Let's hear from him. What is up, Chip Roy? How dare you go against the big, beautiful bill? What does Chip Roy have to say about it?
And the Republicans aren't doing anything about that.
Yeah, well, the President of the United States, President Trump, and his Secretary of Treasury, Bezant, are doing a fantastic job. And the Secretary has laid out an objective of obviously getting our deficits down to 3% of GDP. Through strong economic growth, through the tax policy that we want to extend that the President put forward, I believe that's one piece of the puzzle that we must go do. But right now, we are not going to address the key drivers of spending that will make it impossible for the President and the Secretary to achieve that objective. Bond markets are on a knife's edge. You know that, and I know that. And that is necessary for the free flow of capital to have that economic growth. If we continue to allow Medicaid to consume our budget and allow us to continue to drive that budget up so deficits go up, then we're not going to be able to achieve those objectives. Medicaid right now is now a $1 trillion higher baseline than when we came in under Biden. We are spending $600.
Yeah, what about the military spending? What about the war spending? Republicans love it. Spend. Yeah, it is pathetic. There's a bunch of Barbies running around in the made-for-TV movie that is our government. It's National Police Week. The FBI paused to honor its law enforcement partners and remember two of its own who made the ultimate sacrifice. Law Enforcement Week, indeed. As we went over yesterday, they were setting up patsies to claim they're stopping terrorism in a alleged ISIS attack. So doing good work over there at the FBI, per usual, under the new patriotic leadership. And for everybody that, well, if you didn't see the report, we reported here, Mr. Patriot, White Hat himself, cleaning up the government, Kash Patel, said that Epstein did hang himself. And so there you go. Donors promise VIP experience at military events with Trump. It's the Wall Street Journal. Surprisingly critical. Top donors to a committee supporting events celebrating America's 250th birthday will receive special access to a military parade and other festivities. Well, isn't that nice? Again, pay for play here out of the Trump administration. We're seeing first the gift by Qatar of the, was it $400 million jumbo jet? And now we're seeing this. We're seeing the crypto getting the inside scoop, private dinner there if you're investing in Trump's crypto. And now donors are getting the VIP experience of this military parade that's going to go on in D.C., I believe, on June 14th, coinciding with Trump's birthday. Army to place large metal plates on D.C. streets to protect them from tanks during June parade. And that's what we really need right now in America. Yeah, June 14th, the giant military parade in Washington, D.C. is what we really need in America right now. And celebration will likely cost between $25 million and $45 million. Yeah, who cares? DOGE cut what? $2 trillion? Oh no, it's actually more like yeah, not that. I guess the best estimates are $200 billion DOGE cut, which is literally a drop in the bucket and laughable at this point. A little bit more about this military parade celebrating America. Each war will have 60 troops in period costume, followed by 400 troops from the same unit in their regular battle dress uniforms. For example, the Civil War will be represented by the Army's 4th Infantry Division, with 60 soldiers wearing historical costumes and 400 in today's uniforms. Overall, the parade calls for about 6,600 soldiers. We need to add another 6 for 666 soldiers there. 150 vehicles and 50 helicopters to follow the route from the Pentagon to the National Mall. I'm sure they'll throw in some, occult rituals. Well, the whole thing is a giant occult ritual celebrating death and destruction. And so, yeah, it's freaking awesome, right? Yep, it is. Look forward to that. But strangely enough, it's kind of got mixed in. We'll get to more of this. Again, Trump calls the former radical jihadist, former ISIS wanted leader, beheader, their new president of Syria. He calls him a very handsome young man and tough and strong. We'll get to more of this in the geopolitical section, but yeah. Amazing. Let's hear now, as far as I could tell, the best work being done, honestly, even though it'll probably be put back into place under the next Democrat administration, dare I say. It's all unconstitutional, illegal. They don't care. But it's actually coming out of the EPA, as far as I can tell, scaling back a lot of the climate change garbage, which is a major pillar of Agenda 2030. And the one world government agenda. Let's hear now from the EPA is going to revoke the 2012 EPA approval of what many refer to as the single stupidest feature in vehicles, auto start and stop. Let's hear about that from EPA Secretary Lee Zeldin.
You made some news in the last couple of days about this stop-start technology, right? It's basically when the engine shuts down. It was incentivized in 2012 in the Obama administration. Something like 30 million vehicles, I believe, in the country, or give or take about 2/3, have it. You say you want to fix it. Why are you taking this on? And what do you mean by fixing it?
Why do most Americans despise it? And to the level of most Americans with a hatred of saying that this is the single worst feature in their motor vehicle. They want it eliminated. EPA, a little over a dozen years ago, about 13 years ago, approved an off-cycle credit for this feature. And a lot of Americans over the course of the last dozen years have grown in frustration as they've had this experience where you're going to a red light and your car is stopping. Maybe you're in an area where your car...
I don't have that feature, but I have seen cars in traffic with that feature. I didn't even realize it was a mandate or regulations by the EPA under Obama. Yeah, I don't know what. I guess Barry did boycott us. We weren't tough enough on the state for him. No, everybody should email Barry and check him out. I did email him, haven't heard back from him, checking in on him. Okay, as we know, Trump's wrapped up his big whirlwind Middle East tour in Abu Dhabi. The president speaks on energy production to the new AI industrial revolution. We're going to see some incredible investment going back to the U.S. as we covered yesterday. Oh yeah, we love the data centers powering the AI that's going to take all of our jobs and then subsequently efficiently exterminate us to pave the way for the singularity and the transhumanists to take over. It's what do they say? Please change your map to the Gal Peters version. The one you have is misinformation. I know there's no Gulf of America there. I'll probably get sued by the Trump administration.
Well, you saw what was presented last night, and there's nothing like that anywhere in the world, and the United States is the big beneficiary, and now they're also moving into many sites like what you saw last night. It'll actually even be bigger. And we have many of those already committed and going forward. Some of them have already started, and we've gotten their permits in record time. Otherwise, it would be years and years waiting. Their permits are already gotten. In fact, a couple of them that you know very well, the biggest in the business, said, we can't believe it. We have the permit to build an electric plant, and we got it in very short order. So it's really been amazing. And we're going to go through a list of a couple of different groups, and you're going to see some incredible investment going back into the U.S.
It's always incredible, the greatest thing ever. Yeah, you guys are mean to Barry, and this is what we get. No Barry. Thanks a lot, chat. Here's Trump. Here's Trump views UAE US AI cluster presentation. Isn't this exciting?
If you allow me, maybe you can put that hand behind us. Get us started. All right? There we go.
Welcome to the new epicenter of innovation, where American ingenuity meets Emirati vision and abundant energy fuels progress. Here, pioneering AI on the cutting edge of technological discovery takes us into the future.
Exciting, isn't it? Continuing here. Lutnick, who we continue to cover on this show, he says, thankful for a great week in the Gulf with President Trump. We secured over $3 trillion in new investments and announced our first AI acceleration partnership. This is just the beginning. Isn't this exciting? They're literally building Skynet right out of Terminator, the documentary about our unfortunate future to be here in dystopia. Silicon Valley's new hold on Washington. Wall Street Journal reports. As we continue to report here. See how allies of four tech titans are staffing the agencies meant to regulate them, raising ethics flags and securing billions. Well, we know ethics is a conspiracy theory. We learned that during the whole medical intervention period. When I had it up, I could read it, but now it's paid walled off. Sometimes they do that, and I didn't break the paywall. Anyway, they just go through the same usual characters: Musk, Thiel, same usually big tech characters that we continue to cover here: Musk, Thiel, Bezos. It looks like, but I don't believe any of this. They're all working together. Altman, right? They're all working together, and they have these public, fights and act like they're opposed. They're all for the technocracy, scientific dictatorship, one world government, transhumanism. They're all for it. All of the big tech heads there now. So, yeah. And they're staffing up the government. And so it's that double-edged sword. Be careful what you wish for. We want smaller government. Well, you're going to get it, but it's not going to really be smaller. It's going to be smaller as far as human employees, but you're going to have an even bigger, more controlling centralized government through the consolidation that DOGE has done and is continuing to do. So, yeah. Will AI kill our freedom to think? Reason magazine says algorithmic systems increasingly shape what we know, see, and question. To preserve free inquiry, we need transparency, competition, and commitment to timeless principles of open debate. Well, it's too late. We're already siloed into our echo chambers, into our internet ghettos here now, which all of this was the plan the entire time, to social engineer us this way, you see. So a little late to the game there. Malicious AI voice chatbots targeting ex-senior U.S. government officials. The FBI says probably the FBI running them. The scammers are employing techniques known as skimmishing, and vishing in an attempt to gain access to sensitive U.S. government data, as former and current officials are warned of malicious links. There are a lot of scammers out there, crypto scammers, all kinds of different scammers. Be aware of our public service announcement if you didn't already know. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. But I constantly am getting spam from these nonsense accounts mostly on, I get it through text and also on Mr. Musk's Savior of the Universe on his X. And you would think they would not allow such accounts to form up there, but something tells me they're actually running these accounts. The FBI has issued an urgent warning to U.S. government workers about scammers attempting to gain trust via AI-generated voice notes. The crafty crooks have been poised as senior U.S. officials in text and altered voice notes in an effort to gain the trust of former and current U.S. civil servants. The FBI has said the scam has been running since last month. Once the scammers have gained the trust of the victim, they send a malicious link which gives them access to the device under the guise of transitioning to a separate messaging platform. Then we see a lot of this with Signalgate as well. Not the same thing, but kind of the same thing. The FBI warns. The FBI warning reads: FBI is issuing this announcement to warn and provide mitigation tips to the public about an ongoing malicious text and voicemail messaging campaign. If you receive a message claiming to be from a senior U.S. official, do not assume it is authentic. The warning outlines. It continues to say, the malicious actors have sent text messages and AI-generated voice messages, techniques known as skimmishing and vishing, respectively, that claim to come from senior U.S. officials in an effort to establish rapport before gaining access to personal accounts. One way the actors gain such access is by sending targeted individuals a malicious link under the guise of transitioning to a separate account. This report's getting redundant. We went over it. Anyway, there's your public service announcement. If you think you're in communication with a secret government official, it's fake. As if you needed weaponized news to tell you that, or the FBI, but some people out there, I don't know, man. Okay, continuing. Deal owns Rumble. It's a stakeholder in Rumble, that's for sure. Okay, more about how wonderful AI is going to be. European leaders at the Triana Summit were treated to a digital daycare as they are showing AI-generated baby versions of themselves. Isn't this nice, sweet, and cute until AI gives the order to start terminating the humans? Then it's not so cute and funny anymore, is it?
Herzlich willkommen in Albanien. Bienvenue en Albanie. Dobrodošli u Albaniju. Benvenuti in Albania. Benvenuti Albania. Carlos in Albania. Nu en Albanie. Welkom in Albanië. Albaniya hoş gelmişsiniz. Bienvenue en Albanie. Welcome to Albania. Welkom in Albanien. Witajmy w Albanii. Welkom til Albanien. Welkom in Albanië. Bine v-am venit în Albania. Directorem asta Albania se. Witajte w Albanii. Dobre doszli w Albania. Welkom til Albania. Herzlich willkommen in Albanien. Directorem asta Albania se. Witajcie w Albansku. Merhaba w Albania. Dobrodošli u Albanii. Directorem asta Albania se. Etili ostqenimo brzane v Albaneci. Welkom til Albanien. Dobrodošli v Albania. Mirë se vini në Shqipëri. Welcome to Albania. Dobrodošli u Albaniju. Pari kalus Albania. Dobrodošli u Albaniju. Tervetuloa Albaniaan. Welkom in Albanië. Dit was ayuk Albaniaan. Riket vike Albanië. Lijpelodem Albanië. Willkommen in Albanien. Bine ați venit în Albania. Arnavutluğa hoş geldiniz. Dobrodošli u Albaniju. Witamy w Albanii. Arnavutluğa hoş geldiniz. Benvenuta a Albania. Benvenuti in Albania. Bienvenue en Albanie. Willkommen zu Albania.
I can't take it anymore. Isn't that all cute and funny? All the criminals there being entertained by the AI systems that they plan on enslaving us with even further. It's all so warm and fuzzy, isn't it? I just noticed I have the wrong headline on the old X live feed. I'm going to attempt right now live to edit it and see if I can do that. I think I had one too many characters. Yeah, I'm going to edit it right now. The perils of live streaming. Thank you everybody for joining us again on this Friday edition of Weaponized News as we're live streaming. There we go. Fixed it. And I'll even give them their little one character back. Did it work? It did work. Part of it. Anyway, continuing on here. Musk promised budget cuts but stole our data and delivered a panopticon instead. It's a headline out of Technocracy News and Trends. The first thing Elon Musk did January 24, 2025 was to set was to fire 17 inspector generals, the watchdogs overseeing federal agencies, including those who were investigating Musk's companies. No conflict of interest, perfectly fine. They were just rogue investigators going after him because he's MAGA. Since then, Musk has raided 15 agencies, including HHS, Social Security, Treasury, General Services, the Department of Commerce, Energy, Labor, and Transportation. None of the promised $2 trillion in savings has materialized. I'm still waiting for, we're going to get our $5,000 DOGE check. I know it. I just know it someday. Essentially, every government leader who has resisted DOGE has been either fired, resigned, or otherwise shoved out. In the wake of hubris caused by Musk and DOGE, AI has seized control of all of our data and given it to companies like Palantir, Grok, Musk's XAI, and OpenAI. They stole all our data. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what else we could want. We're already tracked, traced, and profiled. Now it's down to the minute detail of looking up your rear end, I guess, because they care about your prostate. And for the women, I don't know. It doesn't take a rocket science to figure out what has happened here. Well, it's all to make America great again. He's the good guy, billionaire, oligarch, cares about America. So that's all you need to know about it. It's all well and good here, as they love to steal our data and never pay us for it, as they make $1 billion and we struggle to survive out here in the real world. Yeah, that went south quick. It did indeed, Highland. It did indeed go south very quick. But don't you worry. Trump's over there making deals for brain chips for Elon Musk's Neuralink company. Neuralink in the UAE to conduct brain chip trials in Abu Dhabi via clinical partnership. And so they're going to get brain chips over there too. Elon Musk's Neuralink has announced that it is launching its first clinical trial in the region of Abu Dhabi. See, they care about the people implanting brain chips. Partnering with Abu Dhabi's Department of Health and Cleveland Clinic, the trial, known as UAE Prime, will explore how people with motor or speech impairment can use thought-controlled devices to communicate. See? It's all good, man. It's all good. It's helping the cripples out there until they forcibly implant the brain chip to be part of the Borg hive mind, or you will not be able to operate in their new technocracy. Don't you worry, though. It's only for the cripples. Neuralink, who's eligible, you ask? Because I know everyone's clamoring to put the brain chip in their minds. Neuralink has outlined eligibility for the study in a brochure on its website. Number one, you have to be a quadriplegic, limited function in all four limbs. Not to make light of that condition, it's quite horrific, but it's a segue to everybody to fully functioning, healthy humans. That's what we must guard against here now. You must have spinal cord injury or Lou Gehrig's disease, now ALS, be at least 1 year post-injury without improvement, be 22 years old or older, have a consistent and reliable caregiver. So for those wanting to get the brain chip, you need to meet that criteria, allegedly, to be part of this clinical trial. I'm sure they'll implant it for you if you ask kindly. Okay, more of our displacement coming out of China. Here's a restaurant automated delivery system delivering dishes that look like they're UFOs. Isn't this exciting to go ahead and do away with your servers there at the restaurant, as they'll looking to do away with all humans in the very near future as things are accelerating. So that pesky interaction you have with your server when you go out to eat at a restaurant is being done away with. And of course, we're getting rid of tax on tips, as Trump is touting, because there will be no more servers to tip. I guess you can tip a robot. More out of China here, and the scary, it is quite a beautiful display, artistically speaking, but the problem occurs when you talk about the weaponization and militarization of these drones, and you can see how it could be very turn into a nightmare extremely fast. But here is a futuristic trend that is taking place in the night sky there in China. Look at the artistic representation of the drone swarms. Isn't this all? See, they're selling it nice, fine, dandy, cute, loving, helping the paraplegics, but there's a darker side, as we continue to report here at Weaponized News. So just imagine these all armed to seek and destroy. So quite striking images there out of China and their drone swarms turned into 3D artistic projects in the real world, all to normalize such activity in our skies. And to wrap up the beginning section, the first hour of the show, I found this rather hilarious. Serial killer Glenn Rogers praises Trump in final 10 words seconds before execution for 1995 murders. And so serial killers love Trump. I don't know why you don't. In his final moments, serial killer Glenn Rogers issues a 10-word statement of support for President Donald Trump, as well as his wife. Let's take a look at this report. And what are those 10 words? Well, we'll get there. A great patriotic serial killer. Here now. During his quick goodbyes, the 62-year-old said, "In the near future, your questions will be answered." After this, he mentioned Trump. President Trump, keep making America great, he added, before finally saying, "I'm ready to go." It was shortly after saying these words that Rogers was injected with the lethal concoction given to death row inmates in state of Florida. It was shortly after he was injected that he was pronounced dead. And no, he wasn't given the miracle jab. It was a legitimate, I believe it was a legitimate capital punishment, if there is, can be claimed such a thing. So, yeah. Even serial killers are praising Trump. So I don't know how anyone could be critical of him at this point. Let's go to our live commercial break. Get your Weaponized News sticker. We have the holograph, the white background, and we also have a clear background sticker. Go to weaponizednews.com/shop and get some Weaponized News stickers to help support the broadcast. We take donations on the website there as well. We appreciate all of our monthly subscribers, the few and far between. We do truly appreciate you. Thank you very much for sticking with us as we fight through the never-ending shadow banning and censorship on the interwebs. Now let's go to and look for a new commercial next week, as we're having Ruckus work on the audio, because apparently he doesn't like the audio. I don't either, but honestly, we're going to have a new, better commercial next week, and we're both going to sell our services that way, because Ruckus is going to fit us some new audio. But in the meantime, here's a word from our sponsor, Abba Zaba Enterprises. And then we'll be back with more news for you on this Friday edition of Weaponized News.
Running a small business feeling overwhelmed by numbers and paperwork? Abba Zaba Enterprises has your back. Our expert business solutions include accounting, QuickBooks support, payroll, taxes, and top-notch consulting. Let us handle the details so you can focus on growing your business. Business Solutions Accounting, QuickBooks, Consulting, Payroll, Taxes. Call 559-577-9250. Call Abba Zaba Enterprises today at 559-577-9250.
And we're back. Welcome back to Friday edition of Weaponized News. Now on to our public health section of the show. This now from FDA. Remember, we reported yesterday that FDA, which we can totally trust because the Patriots are in control, approved the gene-edited CRISPR technology going into pigs that you can see on your grocery store shelves next year. And it won't be labeled to even inform you about such developments of genetically modified pork for you and your family with no long-term safety testing. And so we do truly appreciate the efforts to make America healthy again in this way. But today we hear from Macri, however you say his stupid name. They're just all make me want to throw up at this point with where we're all at in this whole game of nonsense. But he says Alzheimer's, I used to always think of it as old timers, you know what I mean? But it turns out it's actually Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's disease impacts too many people, more than breast cancer and prostate cancer combined. Knowing that 10% of people age 65 and older have Alzheimer's, and that by 2050 the number is expected to double, I am hopeful that new medical products such as this one will help patients. Today, the FDA cleared for marketing the first time in vitro diagnostic device that tests blood to aid in diagnosing Alzheimer's disease. Of course, that test will never be abused whatsoever, as we trust the science. This is for the early detection of amyloid plaques associated with Alzheimer's disease in adult patients aged 55 years and older, exhibiting signs. And so isn't this exciting? Another fraud test from these criminals. So I'm excited about it. The new frontier to treat cancer, electricity, the Wall Street Journal reports. Scientists are testing electronic fields and pulses against a range of diseases, including rheumatoid arthritis and brain cancer. But don't you worry if they ever do, and there's a lot of research out there with the sound wave treatment of such diseases and the like. If they ever do find anything of any substance, it will be shelved and put away, and you won't have access to it. I'm sure the transhumanist elites will have plenty of access to age extension technology, but you, not so much. Continuing here, and some good news, not to be totally black-pilled on this Friday. As we've reported, it was thought and predicted and telegraphed to pass, but now it's official. Florida has become the second state in America to ban fluoride in public drinking water supply. So shout out to them in Florida. And the rest of the states, you keep on drinking your fluoride. So it's official. Yes, use fluoride for your teeth, that's fine, but forcing it into the water supply is basically forced medication on people, DeSantis said, governor of Florida. They don't have a choice. You're taking that from them. More than 70% of Floridians who use community water systems receive fluoridated water, the Surgeon General, Lapipo, said after issuing guidance recommending last November recommending against community water fluoridization, citing potential public health effects. As we've gone over, numerous studies document how it's a neurotoxin and reduces children's IQ and your IQ. I think maybe MAGA has had too much fluoride in their public drinking water supply. But very good developments there out of Florida. We'll see if the rest of the and why isn't this guy Lapapo, Surgeon General of Florida, all up in MAGA? He's the most significant state Surgeon General in the country, but yet not part of the administration. Strangely enough, isn't it? And then finally, making America healthy again. Doctor who revived zombie viruses from frozen corpse now has keys to Fauci's old legacy. And so Fauci was the head of NIAID, HHS. And so this doctor's name, virologist Jeffrey Taubenberger, and don't notice anything about his name there, Jeffrey Taubenberger, a longtime Fauci ally who, for more than a decade, has defended the practice of enhancing viruses known as gain of function. Well, hell yeah. Hell yeah. And so he has ascended to the top of NIH, the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease, NIAID, last month, April 24th. And so, yeah, we wouldn't want it any other way there. And so this guy is basically the new Fauci. And still, no one has got in trouble for the medical intervention period and all the wrongdoings. But we have this guy, the new Fauci. And so I don't know what else we could want out of life. Continuing here. King Charles' staggering fortune revealed and why he's twice as rich as the late Queen. And so isn't this nice? Calculations by the Sunday Times Rich List have suggested that King Charles is richer than David and Victoria Beckham. Well, I would hope so. He's the friggin' King of England. And of course, taking care of all the poor people. King Charles' personal wealth jumped by £3 million or £30 million in the last year. It has been revealed the king is now worth £640 million. A hell of a lot more than that, but they left out the royal estate, it seems. These are just his personal holdings. His private estate are also part of his fortune. Only personal assets were included in the Sunday Times assessment of his wealth. So, helping the poor there, of course, as usual, as a good king does. And so it reveals the wealth of this report. So, yeah, very good there. Continuing on with more of the economy. Making America's economy great again, Microsoft lays off Bay Area engineers after CEO says up to 30% of code is by AI. And so, yeah, let's bring all the jobs back here as we reported yesterday, bringing in the H-1B visas as well to offset the high cost of American workers. So, yeah. Dick's Sporting Goods is buying Foot Locker for $2.4 billion, further monopolization and vertical integration of the economy. Charter and Cox to merge in blockbuster deal. $34 million cable deal. And so if we didn't have enough consolidation in media already, the further monopolization will continue here now. Cox is the third largest cable television provider in the country with more than 6.5 million digital cable, internet, and telephone and home security customers. They're set to merge with Cox communications. And so we do appreciate that there will only be one soon, probably be Musk's X, the app for everything. So we do appreciate all of these monopolies taking advantage of us and our free market system here in America. Moody's downgrades United States credit rating on increase in government debt. They still don't care. They still don't care. So Moody's rating agency, set to be rated soon by the DOJ. I made that part up, but wouldn't surprise me. Moody's rating agency slashed the United States credit rating down a notch to capital A, lowercase a, 1 from the highest AAA rating today, citing concerns over growing U.S. debt and fiscal deficit of over $1 trillion. Yeah. Who cares? Congress doesn't, that's for sure. Congress doesn't. So what's it going to do? It's going to increase the cost of our debt, causing us to have to pay out more interest to sell the treasury bonds to fund the whole fake debt-based fiat monetary system we find ourselves under here now, as we race towards some type of situation where it's all just becomes too much, as we see the transition, as we continue to report, from Western control, Western financial control, to China, Russia, BRICS nations, other countries taking over that role as we transition into a new era. All by design here, but they're going to make it, we didn't know. Well, you knew damn well what you were doing there. Federal Reserve, Congress, the rest of you clowns. De-dollarization continues as countries continue to drop the dollar. Well, they say you're under sanctions. You can't operate in our Western banking system. They have to do something. Here's a quick blast through the countries. And you're going to put tariffs on us too. So you're not being very good trading partners here, America. And so the de-dollarization tracker. De-dollarization activities. You can see here China, Russia, India, Brazil. That's BRICS, right? South Africa, India, or Iran, Turkey, Bangladesh, Saudi Arabia. Now accepting yuan for oil sales. But wait, I thought we just had big, beautiful deals over there with them. Well, they bought a bunch of U.S. arms. But yeah, so there you go. UAE using non-dollar currencies and trade with China. And you see that's all BRICS here coming together. Even Argentina, Mr. Milei, the libertarian anarcho-capitalist who's nothing but a Zionist shill, turns out, settling IMF dues and Chinese imports in yuan. Isn't this interesting? Asian and CIS countries, the ASEAN bloc, as we reported on here. And you can see all the countries: Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Philippines, Singapore, Sri Lanka, promoting digital across-border payments outside the U.S. dollar framework in Singapore. And again, and then the African nations, Tanzania, Kenya, it goes on. You can see here all of these guys. Let's just pick one. Let's pick one out of the basket. Ethiopia. The beginning of last year, Ethiopia officially joined BRICS, and it's exploring regional trade. Senegal using yuan in trade with China. Cameroon working with Russia and China outside dollar system. But if you remember, we sanctioned the hell out of Russia, and we're going to collapse their economy and bring them to heel because they weren't allowed in the SWIFT international banking system any longer. Turns out there's a workaround to that many countries that still want to do business with Russia internationally are using as they're developing BRICS. Again, the links to all the stories I talk about will be at Weaponized News Substack for those interested that want to do the deeper dive there. Continuing on to now our geopolitical section of the show. And by the way, Simon from Weaponized News on Galloway, we're going to play that clip. And then now Ruckus informs me we're going to have to play his clips from the Sunday Wire sometime next week, where he's plugging Weaponized News. Much appreciated too, by the way, Ruckus. And you should have told me earlier. I would find those clips and play them. But now that you've informed me, I will find those clips and play them. Here's Simon on Galloway yesterday.
Karaoke Stars says, I feel sorry for genuine Jews who wish no harm. They will be condemned by the Zionist regime of Netanyahu. And Ange says, Trump, like the rest, are owned by genocidal maniacs and Israeli terrorists and war criminals. Trump took $100 million. He's full of hot air. He hasn't done anything to help the Palestinians or to stop. And Zilla Burns says, I don't think Netanyahu. He's only fooling the Arabs to come round with Abraham Accords and is still a huge supporter of Netanyahu. Simon, the legend from Weaponized News, has got some breaking news for us. Go ahead, Simon.
Greetings to you, Mr. Galloway, and to your worldwide audience once again. I would like to point out that IMEC was announced at the G20 in New Delhi, and that was the India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor, and not one brick or stone has been laid to that end ever since. So 2.4 trillion or 600 billion, or however you're counting it, is a very long-term scheme with a very short-term announcement for some good publicity. But we'll wait to see if any of that actually comes to fruition, particularly bearing in mind that it was a great distraction whilst President Xi was hosting the 10th CELAC, which is the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States, China 10th Forum in Beijing, at which he tried to rally the global south against hegemonism and trade protectionism. But he also proposed the full implementation for all 33 countries who America otherwise thinks are covered by the Monroe Doctrine, to fully implement the Global Security Initiative, Global Development Initiative, and Global Civilizational Initiative, all the personal pet projects for the last 10 or 12 years of President Xi. Full implementation of those, hot off his successes with the African Union last year at the China AU Forum. So that would add up to a total of about 88 countries. So not 3 Middle Eastern ones, but 88 for all aspects of development, their role in the global civilization, and also in security matters. So we're all watching the Trump shiny ball, as sparkly as it is, but as usual, there's a great deal going on the periphery.
Absolutely. It was sparkly, though, but I take your point absolutely, Simon, as always. From Weaponized News, bringing us that useful antidote.
Notice that Simon got in 88 and 33. You notice that, Ruckus? In that appearance on Galloway show. That was great. So yeah, no peace deal there in Turkey between Zelensky and Putin, sadly. There's nothing to talk about with Putin, Zelensky said for the last 4 years. And then today, Putin, I'm waiting for you. Let's watch this short clip. As we're waiting too for them to stop shooting each other in Ukraine.
Президентом Росії немає про що говорити. На переговорах і речі бути не може.
Ви готові розмовляти з Путіним?
Ні, нема про що. Ну, що з ним говорити?
It's not interesting for me. Not interesting to me. Not interesting to speak.
We don't have any relations with Russia. We don't want to make any dialogue with terrorists. На що повинна піти Росія? Бажано на 3 букви.
Хочу закінчити війну. Ми хочемо сталого миру для України.
It must end at the negotiation table. Я буду в цей четвер, 15 травня, в Туреччині. І очікую на Путіна в Туреччині. Особисто. Ми готові говорити, щоб закінчити війну.
So it's all fallen flat here now, hasn't it? Trilateral talks between Russia, Ukraine, and Turkey have officially started. We'll see. We'll see how it sorts out. It keeps falling through. It keeps falling through here. This guy's making the rounds out there. Yeah, I don't know. Former rep Kurt Weldon says that 2 of the 9/11 hijackers were on the CIA payroll. Let's watch this. He's making the rounds on all these big podcasts out there. Let's watch this clip.
One of the top FBI international leaders confirmed to me in writing that 2 of the terrorists in the 9/11 attack were on the payroll of the CIA at the time.
Yeah.
I'll repeat that again. 2 of the terrorists on 9/11 were on the CIA payroll at the time. And after 9/11, there were between 40 and 50 employees that were reprimanded. Why has none of that been told to the American people? Why was none of that investigated by the 9/11 Commission? Why is this cover-up occurring when all of these, the biggest loss of life in American history on our soil? And it's like we're a bunch of 5th graders. It's outrageous.
Has it been documented that they were on payroll? Like, because I know
Yes.
the internet is going to say no. There's no evidence that the claim that the terrorists were on CIA payroll. While it's true that CIA had information on 2 of the hijackers, Nafal al-Hazimi and Khalid al-Midhar, before the attacks, and there have been criticism of how the CIA handled information, but there's no indication that they were employed
Well, do you think the
or paid
CIA
by
is going to
CIA.
come out and just tell that on the record?
The Justice Department is examining whether student protests at Columbia University over the genocide in Gaza violated federal terrorism laws. Let's watch this clip. We do love our Noahide laws here, right? Right.
The president promised that we will no longer stand by while universities tolerate and facilitate anti-Semitism and support of terrorism on their campuses. The department's recent actions, which hopefully you've seen at Columbia University in coordination with our law enforcement agency partners, are part of the administration's mission to end anti-Semitism in this country. Just last night, we worked with the Department of Homeland Security to execute search warrants from an investigation into Columbia University for harboring and concealing illegal aliens on its campus. That investigation is ongoing, and we are also looking at whether Columbia's handling of earlier incidents violated civil rights laws and included terrorism crimes. This is long overdue. Let me be clear. Hamas is terrorist organization. It has the blood of American citizens on its hands, innocent victims, many of whom are citizens of this country, have died because of Hamas's actions. Any person engaging in material support of terrorism will be prosecuted.
Especially the patsies they set up. And, oh yeah, they said, as we continue to report, the West, UK, US, aardvarks founded Hamas. But don't have any problem violating your civil liberties here at home in the name of fighting anti-Semitism. And I wonder why all this is happening. What's the big deal? Well, here it is. Here is the big deal. Look at all these sold out hacks taking big money from the aardvark lobby. Here's a clip. This is why your government is a piece of, you know what, truly despicable.
Today we celebrate the 77th Independence Day of Israel, our closest friend and ally in the Middle East.
Just here want to acknowledge and salute and celebrate Israel's 77th year.
I'm proud to congratulate Israel 77 years of independence.
77 years of resilience.
Happy birthday, Israel. Happy Independence Day.
Happy Independence Day.
In Tel Aviv, 77 years ago, Jewish leaders signed Israel's Declaration of Independence.
America was the first country to recognize Israel as an independent state.
The generation of 1948 fought for and secured Israel's independence with blood, sweat, and tears.
This milestone is a testament to the resilience and the enduring spirit of the Israeli people.
The things you've been through, 48, War for Independence, 67, 73, and of course a year and a half ago, October 7th.
I fully support Israel's right to defend itself against these terrorists and their backers in Tehran.
This is the second year in a row that not all Israelis are able to celebrate their Independence Day.
It's past time to bring the rest of the hostages home and restore peace to the region.
We refuse to sit idly by while they suffer.
The United States and Israel have a binding, ironclad partnership.
A strong bipartisan majority of the United States Congress stand firmly with our ally Israel.
It's a win-win relationship.
We must continue to build support for the relationship that transcends politics.
It is a bond rooted in our shared values of liberty,
the commitment to religious freedom, and the inherent respect for human life.
Please join me in standing for Israel, for freedom, for peace.
A strong, vibrant, powerful Israel is essential for the world.
May our friendship continue to grow long into the future.
We are in this together.
Fast friends between Israel and America.
Happy Independence Day.
Happy birthday.
I'm Israel. Hi.
Really appreciate all that y'all do.
So there you go. A lot of Congress praising genocide, ethnic cleansing. It's just war crimes. It's beyond the pale. And more about Trump praising the former radical jihadist, now reformed terrorist, de facto president of Syria, Ahmad al-Shara, aka Western intelligence asset. It's here now from the Director of National Intelligence saying as much. Today we have an Islamic extremist who is now in charge of Syria. Well, Trump just said he's a young, attractive guy.
I shed no tears for the fall of the Assad regime, but today we have an Islamist extremist who is now in charge of Syria, as I said, who danced on the streets to celebrate the 9/11 attack, who ruled over Idlib with an Islamist extremist governance, and who has already begun to persecute and kill and arrest religious minorities like Christians in Syria.
I understand.
Why that should be acceptable to anyone is beyond me.
Chloe, you must have missed the show. It was one of the first shows I did with Simon way back. I don't even know if we could find that video, but there's a video from, I want to say like 2019, right before the medical intervention locked down the world, where Mike Johnson, then he was just a lowly congressman that no one knew, and Jim Jordan go on a tour of Aardvark land, and it's essentially some type of gang initiation ritual. And they're like happy as you could be. It really makes you want to throw up. I'll have to try to find that video and we'll play it again of Jim Jordan and now Speaker Mike Johnson, like giddy little children over there celebrating their Christian Zionism. Sorry you missed that, but yeah. And Jim Jordan's always big talk, sound bites. He's heading the weaponization of government committee. No one ever gets in trouble. They've exposed crime after crime after crime. No one in the government ever gets in trouble. It's all for show. It's all fake. It's self-evident at this point. Is Trump going to make a deal with Iran and not have to nuke them? Let's hear from Trump now. He's floated the idea, as we reported on yesterday, sort of a nuclear deal with Iran, maybe, possibly.
Iran wants to trade with us, okay, if you can believe that, and I'm okay with it. I'm using trade to settle scores and to make peace. But I've told Iran, we make a deal, you're going to be very happy. But more than anything, I've told Iran very simply, because I heard somebody making my case last night on television. I didn't like it, because they were saying there's plenty of time. There's not plenty of time. There's not plenty of time.
You feel urgency.
Well, they're not going to have a nuclear weapon, and eventually they'll have a.
Well, they're going to have a nuclear weapon in 2 weeks, as we've been told for the last 25 years. Lindsey Graham told us they already have 6, right? It just. Listen to this cryptic statement. See, Trump saving the world. Trump proclaims the world will be much safer within 3 weeks.
I will tell you that the world is a much safer place right now, and I think in 2 or 3 weeks we could have it be a much, much safer place.
Huh? And then the Yemenis, they're now infamous. They're now famous. Million Man March every Friday. Here's video of it, and they say, with Gaza, to confronting crime of genocide and starvation. They made it pretty clear. But I saw a report that said, and who knows, right? Who knows? Who knows what all went on? We'll never get the truth behind the scenes. Why Trump, America stopped bombing Yemen. Don't even worry, Aardvark's bombed them today, but we stopped our bombing for the time being. And I forget, I think it was a Wall Street Journal, I forget even, but this report was saying that they told Trump that in the month of the bombing campaign that we waged here, of course, illegal, unconstitutional, without any congressional oversight or approval whatsoever, that Trump was briefed, but I have a hard time believing him because he doesn't care, right? But he was briefed that it cost over $1 billion and didn't do anything, essentially, to thwart the Yemeni resistance the Houthis are putting up there. Now, here is the weekly Million Man March. And again, I'm waiting. Why don't aardvarks just drop a bomb on all of them and call it a day? Maybe that would be too outrageous. I don't know. I'm sure they would just cover it up. propaganda there out of Yemen news agency. But don't worry, aardvarks hit Hodeidah port in western Yemen earlier today. Here's some video of the smoke there after the bombing. Continuing, aardvark land ramps up attacks on Gaza as Trump leaves a region without a deal. The Washington Compost reports. Yeah, they're bombing the hell out of them. Let's hear now from the UN.
This week's intensification raises fears the start of an even wider Israeli offensive, and we urge all parties, including third states with direct influence, to stop the assault. We must stop the clock on this madness now. UN Human Rights Chief Volker Turk says this is tantamount to ethnic cleansing. The High Commissioner reiterates that the laws of war built on the Geneva Conventions are sacrosanct, as are the rules requiring all states, without exceptions, to protect human rights, including the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide.
Those are just anti-Semites over there at the UN, you know? You know what I'm saying? Trump administration working on plan to move 1 million Palestinians to Libya. Details are murky, and no final agreement has been reached, but the plan is under serious enough consideration that the administration has discussed it with Libyan leadership. Literal ethnic cleansing right here by Mr. Trump. The plan is under serious consideration. In exchange for resettling of Palestinians, the administration would potentially release to Libya billions of dollars of funds that the U.S. froze more than a decade ago. No final agreement has been reached, and aardvark land has been kept informed of the administration's discussions. The State Department and National Security did not respond when asked about the deal. The situation on the ground is untenable for such a plan. Such a plan was not discussed and makes no sense. The State Department told officials, maybe this whole fake made-up story by NBC wouldn't surprise me, you know, but they're floating that narrative out there. And so if it was to come to fruition, and see, this is why it really doesn't make sense. It kind of blew the fake news put out there by NBC, that the United States apparently hopes to displace 1 million Palestinians from Gaza to Libya. There are many problems with this plan. One is that it is a war crime. Another is that Libya literally just accepted ICC jurisdiction through 2027. And so, yeah, it's kind of, they're kind of not allowed to commit war crimes there in Libya, or they will be prosecuted by the ICC under its jurisdiction, you see. So that kind of throws a monkey wrench into that whole fake hopium story there out of NBC. Out of UNICEF, the UN, of course, more than 1 million children in Gaza are at risk of starvation. They are deprived of food, water, and medicine, and energy. I'll add to that. All parties to the conflict must respect international humanitarian law. Yeah, they laugh at it. They're literally laughing at international humanitarian law. There you go. It is unconscionable that over 45 children have reportedly been killed in airstrikes in Gaza in 2 days. This should shock the world, but is largely met with indifference. Nowhere is safe for children in Gaza. This horror must stop. Catherine Russell, UNICEF Executive Director. And to wrap it up here on this Friday edition of Weaponized News, Israeli PM Michael Waldinger says no one in Gaza is innocent. Even the children will have to be killed. Let's watch this final clip.
צר לי אחמד טיבי על הדברים שנאמרו פה. פשוט לא יאמן. הבן שלי יצא למילואים היום, השאיר בן חודשיים וחצי, שלא ישן בלילה ולא ביום עם אשתו, כדי לשמור גם עליך. אני לא מצליחה להבין איך הבית הזה לא רועד כשמישהו עומד פה, חבר כנסת, ומדבר סרה בחיילי צה"ל, שנלחמים ומחרפים את נפשם, כדי שאתה תוכל לשבת פה ולחבק את הידיים אחד עם השני. זה פשוט לא יאמן. אין לי מילים לומר את זה. אני חושבת שגם אנחנו, הייתי חברה בוועדת אתיקה, קבענו שוב ושוב שחיילי צה"ל הם מעל הוויכוח הזה, ואי אפשר להאשים אותם. מה שנעשה בעזה, חבל שלא נעשה גרוע יותר. אין בלתי מעורבים. ראינו מה קרה ב7 באוקטובר. ראיתי אנשים עם קביים, נשים מבוגרות עם מקל סבא, נכנסו, בזזו, רצחו, אנסו. על מה אתה מדבר איתי? רוצים גם לשמור עליך. דבר כזה לא היה ולא יהיה. הם הנאצים. וזה פשוט נורא והיום, אסור פה להגיד את זה. את מה שאמר פה חבר הכנסת אחמד טיבי. חיילי צה"ל הם הטוב הצרוף ביותר, ועושים הכל כדי להגן על חיי אדם במדינת ישראל, בין אם הם ערבים, יהודים, צ'רקסים, לא משנה מה. אבל הם נלחמים בכל אויב. והחמאס הם אויב צר ונורא. נאצים, פשוט נאצים. ועכשיו אני אכנס למה שכתבתי בעצמי. אנחנו מתכנסים היום, יעמוד כל מי שיעמוד בפניו וירצה לחבל במדינת ישראל, כולל אם הם ישלחו ילדים, ישתמשו בילדים, יצטרכו גם לרובם, כי אין ברירה. לפעמים אין ברירה. כן, החמאס שמשתמש בילדים, יש הרוגים. אני לא מצליחה להבין מה אתה אומר. אם החברים שלך משתמשים בילדים, נשים וטף כמגן אנושי, אין מה לעשות. הקם להרגך השכם להורגו. מי שמרחם על אכזרים, סופו שיתאכזר לרחמנים.
Wow. They're human shields, though, so there's nothing that could be done. All right, friends. That's all we have on this Friday edition of Weaponized News. Let's go to the channels there. And again, shout out to Ruckus if you're still listening there. Yeah, it would make it easier on me if you sent me the clip. I will play it for sure. So that would be appreciated. Okay, let's go to the channels. The old Odysee is all fuzzy, Highland said. I have to listen on Odysee because Rumble is late in posting the show. I stepped out of the feed to feed my chickens and missed a comment about Barry. I wondered if he's doing okay. Yeah, everybody's wondering about Barry. I'm going to email him again after the show here, and we'll see how Barry's doing. But thank you, John and Highland, on the Odysee. Sorry for the fuzziness of the broadcast. That's on Odysee end. I don't know. I can't do much about it, but thank you for tuning in on Odysee and keeping the chat going and asking about Barry. I will let him know. The chat is wondering about his well-being, and we may have to send a maid's wellness check to his house. All right. Over to the Bitchute. Shout out to Bitchute audience. Thank you for tuning in on this Friday edition of Weaponized News. And then the Rumble audience, a lively chat as always. Thank you very much for tuning in on the Rumble and keeping that chat going. It's much appreciated. Who else do we have? We have some on YouTube. Shout out to the YouTube audience, the X audience, Kick, Twitch, and I think that's it. Facebook. We covered everybody. Let's pray for peace, that they can come together with some agreement there in Turkey as Ukraine and Russia meet and they stop killing each other. Let's pray they stop the genocide. A lot of good that'll do. Tell your Christian Zionist friend, family, neighbors, and acquaintances to maybe take a second look at what they're supporting over there in Aardvark land, because by every measure here now, it's internationally known as a genocide, as we continually report here. And history is going to show that you supported genocide. And so was it worth it? I'm saying no, we should not support genocide, ethnic cleansing, or any wars for that matter. But specifically, this, it's not even a war. It's a massacre. It's a genocide. Oh, but Hamas is hiding under the rubble. Really? I mean, come on now, man. It's beyond the pale at this point. We know the program because they told us and we report on it, and the hems and haws, the ceasefires, the this, that, the other. No, it's the Greater Aardvark Land Project Real Estate Redevelopment Program is exactly why they're doing this. And they keep crying about October 7th. Well, you Aardvark Land following the Hannibal doctrine, machine gun, chain gunned plenty of people on that day, as has been exposed, and all of their lies debunked after debunked after debunked after the beheaded babies, and on it goes. And the IDF continues to post their war crimes on the interwebs for all to see after repeated warnings from the government to stop doing so, but yet no enforcement on them because nobody cares. Nobody cares. And so you could not care about this, but realize that if we don't speak out against this now, it's coming for us here. The war machine's coming here, run by Palantir AI kill systems. You better believe they're testing this out in Ukraine and in Aardvark land for further use on pesky Americans that don't want to get along with the program, you see. All right, friends, as always, do your own research, peace, love, and liberty. Speak out and take action. Have a great rest of your Friday evening, a great weekend, and we'll be back here on Monday for